In this tutorial, we're going to be setting up the correct measuring and positioning of our custom image view using the onMeasure method. Welcome to Mobile Application Tutorials. My name's Nigel. Okay, so in the previous tutorial we learned how to display the bitmap on our custom image view. In this tutorial we're going to actually set up proper measurement sizing, and because in the following tutorials when we pinch and zoom we're going to want to change the size of our image view. So we're going to start implementation of the onMeasure method. Okay, so we need to go into our custom image view. What I'm going to do is I'm going to override the onMeasure method. There it is there. Okay, there we've got here. So this method is our way of telling Android how big we want our image view to be, basically. And Android can also pass us some recommended sizing as well. One thing, Android gets part of its values from the XML file that we set up for this. Let's go to the XML file. So we look at here's our XML file, and you can see the layout width and height has been set as match parent. Match the size of the parent layout as such. And so Android gets these values here as recommendations of what it thinks the image view should be. But we might want the image view to be a different size, especially if we're using a pinch zoom implementation where the image view changes all the time. So we can use the onMeasure method inside our custom image view to put across the values we desire. So let's go back to our method here. Anyway, so these values here will be probably extracted from the XML file on what we set as the parent width and height dimensions. So we can either use those or we can use our desired values as well, especially for the minimum size. So for the minimum size, we either want the minimum size to take up the entire display or just to take up the original non-zoomed version of the image. Okay, so let's first of all get the recommended values from Android and then pass in our values, desired values, and then we'll pass that back to Android. Okay, so let's set up a couple of variables here called image width. And we need to call the measure spec to help us extract the values Android's sending us in its arguments. So then we could get size, and this will be the width measure spec size. We'll do the same for height. Okay, so we've now got the recommended values from Android. Now, in the previous tutorial, we worked out we've provided the image width and height. And so basically, we want to use whatever version is the smallest. So we need to, when you call onMeasure, override onMeasure method, you do need to call this method at the end here, or else you will get an error. You need to call setMeasuredDimension. So this method requires that. And now we can pass our recommended values. So I'm just going to use a math.min. So basically I want to use what if our value is the smallest, use our value. If our value gets too big, use the minimum recommended from Android, which will take up the entire display. Okay, so let's pass in the Android value first, image width, or our image width. And let's just Paste that in here. And we'll do the same thing for height. Okay, that looks fine. I will be making some slight changes to this, but this is basically the implementation for the onMeasure method. So basically pinch, zoom, we're changing our height, so we need to pass in our desired values to Android so it knows how to actually lay out our view with its size. Okay, so that's fine for that. I just want to make one more change to this episode, which is making our application sticky full screen, or full screen immersive mode, full screen basically. So let's go into our activity. We'll do that inside our activity. Source code, here it is. Okay, I'm going to override another method inside our activity. What is it? It's on window focus changed. That's the place for it to happen. Okay, first thing I want to do is I just want to get a representation of our decor view. To get that, get window, get decor view. Okay, that will get us the view that we need to pass in here. Okay, now only do this if we do have focus, or has focus. Now inside our decor view, you can set the system UI visibility. Okay, and inside here we're just going to pass it a bunch of parameters. System UI flag layout stable is one of them. Or system UI flag hide navigation. There's going to be a bunch of these I'm going to be setting. System UI hide layout, system UI flag layout full screen. System UI flag full screen. System UI flag layout sticky, so that's the full screen sticky immersive, and I need one more, which is UI flag hide navigation. UI flag hide navigation. That should be them there. So this will convert our application to full screen, and it's going to be sticky, so we can actually swipe up or down just to see the status or to get the navigation buttons. Okay, just a quick scan here to see I haven't made any boopers. Okay, that's fine. Okay, now let's try running this and see what happens. Because I've set my onMeasure method as well, that should help with the positioning, putting my view in the center of the layout. Okay, so we'll run that. Let me record this so you can see what's going on. Let's use the same image from the last tutorial. Here it is here, just hold the long press. Okay, we've got full screen, and as you can see, we've now positioned the image in the middle in preparation for a pinch and zoom setup. Okay, that concludes this tutorial. We basically learned how to set up the onMeasure implementation of our custom image view, which is important for us to decide the actual size of how we want our view to display on our layout, basically, in our application. So this is just basically an example of how to set that up. Anyway, that concludes this tutorial. If you want to get notified of further updates to this series or any other tutorial series that I'm working on, click on the subscribe button down below if you haven't already subscribed. And if you want to keep up to date with all the changes and update and news and mobile application tutorials, surrounding me a bunch of my social media accounts, so you can click on those now if you're running this, if you're viewing this from a computer. And directly above me is a link to my homepage as well, my website. And so we also display these video tutorials on that site. Also, there's examples of the code down below, so you can look at the code while watching the tutorial, and there's the details of where the code's put up on GitHub as well. Anyway, that concludes this tutorial. Hope you enjoyed it. Bye for now.